Bank on it. You can put 100 grand on it. Anything I said, I'll stamp on it. In a private plane, I'll lamp on it.
Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you are well. I hope you are good. I miss you guys so much. I miss doing the one-on-one videos, but I am back. If you are new here, welcome. I hope you love the content that we put out and you consider subscribing and joining the family. But if you are old, Sabi, hi, welcome. I hope you are well. I hope you are good. I miss you so much and I thank you for continuously supporting this channel. Anyway, let's get into today's video. The reason I decided to shoot today's video is because of a lot of discussions that I've had with different people on marriage. I think the first time I actually had this thought was when I went for a youth conference and we were talking about relationships. They asked me to come and talk about relationships, and one of the topics that I touched on was on marriage. So in that topic, I was just talking about preparing for marriage and some of the things to look out. But that was in summary, and I thought, you know what, hold on, let me actually do a long form content on marriage, on how to prepare for marriage. And what I'm gonna say, it's not a definite. Every one of us have their own journeys, and I also have my own journey. And I also learned a couple of things that I thought, I should have or I shouldn't have before I got into marriage. So this platform is just for us to learn together, to share together, and why not share my journey, but also the lessons that I've gathered from different people, the lessons that I've gathered from people that have been doing marriage thing for a long time. I am not an expert in marriage. I'm still learning. I mean, I'm still a baby in marriage. We are only turning 4 years this year. So I consider myself a baby in marriage. But I think with any information that we have, we need to share so that people can learn, and those that are considering to get into marriage at least have an idea of what are the things that they need to look for before they get married. So let's get into it. I've got my notebook here so that I don't ramble. I know that I can ramble, and then we can start. So I've got 7 things here that I think for me it's a priority. If you are looking into getting married, these are the things that you need to look out for before you say I do. The first thing that I want to say that is important, that is truly important, that I think each and every couple before they get married need to consider is premarital counseling. I know some of you might have been dating for long and you think you know your partner. You think that you've figured things out, you've spoken about a lot of things, but trust me guys, premarital counseling has a way of peeling off the layers of a human being in a way that a casual conversation with your partner would not do that, in a way that you will need a professional to do that. And professionals are exactly that. They are professionals. They're trained to facilitate such discussions. They are trained to navigate difficult conversations and for people to open up, even though you might have been in a relationship with someone for 10 years and they still are not comfortable to talk about those things. Professionals are there to help you with that. So please, 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 before you even tell your family that you want to get married, or you send out a letter, you start your lobola negotiations, please go for premarital counseling. If it is a step that you and your partner have decided on, go for premarital counseling, so that if there are things that are discovered during those sessions and you feel like, hold on, let me rather not continue with this lobola negotiations, then you are not under pressure to fulfill your family's desires, or to fulfill people's excitement, because once the letter comes through and your family is involved, everyone is excited, everyone is planning the wedding with you and for you. So it is very difficult for you to go back and say, family, I think I'm not ready for this. So before you get into that complicated situation, rather go for premarital counseling, and then from there you and your partner can step into marriage very sure of the step that you are taking, because it's not easy. And I'm not saying that with your premarital counseling, because the premarital counseling is a session that is probably a 2 months long, or it's 12 sessions. It depends where you go to. Some do it in churches, some do it with a professional. So it's really depending on where you want to go to, but it is a fixed session. So I'm not saying that a premarital counseling will assist you in terms of knowing your partner holistically, because it is not enough. You need a lifetime to know someone, right? So it's not going to be enough, but at least with the main things that you need to consider before going into marriage, you would have covered them into premarital counseling. Second thing, pray about your partner. Pray, 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 pray about your partner. And if you pray and you listen to God, I really trust that He will give you the answer. And be ready to receive the answer, because a lot of times we want to pray and manipulate the hand of God, but you can't do that. So be ready for the answer that God is going to give you. If God says this is your man, this is your wife, that's okay, go ahead. If God says no, don't go. Don't go into that and think you're going to change things. God knows our future. God knows our hearts. God looks into the heart instead of the external, and that they've got money, they've got this and that. God literally takes our true characters and the gifts that He has given us and the purpose that we have in our individual lives and merge it into one. And if that is not a mixture that He agrees with, trust in Him to say whatever or whoever that is there for you out there will come. If this one is not the one, please don't go ahead and try to change the mind of God. So please pray about your partner. So number one thing that you need to consider before you get into marriage is faith. Are you and your partner having the same faith? Faith as in whatever that you believe in, your belief system. If you're a Christian, are you both Christians, or it is just one of those things that you know? But for me, number one is faith. Faith is the ultimate decider of a lot of things. Faith is, it determines your principles. It determines how you treat people. It determines a whole lot of things that I'm actually going to touch on as I continue. So it is our cornerstone, and a lot of things are informed by our faith. So if you and your partner do not have the same faith, you can imagine how many times you're going to clash on a lot of things. The Bible says we need to be equally yoked. I think as I've been getting revelation on the scripture of being equally yoked, it is beyond faith. Faith is the most important thing, but it is not the only thing that will make your marriage survive. Because there are a lot of Christian people that have the same beliefs, but still they can't win in marriage because of other factors that are contributing to the challenges. So like I'm saying, it is the main and it's the most important, but it is not the only thing that will make your marriage survive. So make sure that when you get married to someone that has the same belief system. And sometimes we get married into someone that has the same belief system, but our level of spirituality or of faith are not the same. Meaning others are still babies, they are growing in the faith, others are up there. So that is for you to decide as well, because it depends on the level of faith that you are on, that will determine certain things that you'll be able to do with your partner. For instance, if you believe that you want to fast with your partner for 21 days and they're like, but I don't fast, because they're still learning in their journey about fasting and prayer and all of that. And if they don't believe, or they are still learning, and that will frustrate you, you need to also think about that. If you want your partner to be going to church every Sunday, and they are not yet there, they believe that they just got saved, therefore praying is good enough, then consider that as well. If you want your partner to be someone that will be reading the word with you, and you share the word with each other every day, and he's not there or they are not there, consider that as well. So, but remember that we also need to give each other grace. There were times where you were also a baby in the faith, and it's important that also you give your partner that grace. But however, like I'm saying, it is really up to you if this will frustrate you, or you feel like, no, I actually, where I am in my journey of faith with God, I'm on another level and I can't tolerate that, then that is for you to decide. I always say that you want someone that when tomorrow you are unresponsive. Let's say you are fighting for your life, you are on life support, and you are unresponsive, and your partner has to make a decision about what they do with you. You need someone that you know that they won't take you to a sangoma if you don't believe in a sangoma. They're not gonna come and demand that the doctors remove you from the machines because they need to go and consult with your body. You don't want that. You want someone that they will fight for you in a similar way that you would fight for them. They would fight for you with your belief systems. If going to a church and getting prayer is what you would do, you want your partner to also do the same for you. So now faith is very important, guys. Number 2, bloodline. I've come to learn a lot about the importance of knowing your partner's bloodline. So when we talk about bloodline, we talk about spiritual things that are happening in their generation, in their family, so their family bloodline. And this thing is very tricky as well, because some of these things, especially with bloodlines would be revealed by the Holy Spirit. It's not something that someone would just tell you. That some would tell you if they have had that revelation, and you and your partner talk about those things. But if you are marrying someone that is not aware of bloodlines, and they are not even aware that this is happening in my life because of the history of my bloodline, then it is only God that can reveal that to you. It takes spirit of discernment. It takes the wisdom of God to reveal someone's bloodline. So that's why it's important to pray about your partner, because some of these things you won't know until you get into the marriage with your partner. So please make sure that you pray about your partner's bloodline. Bloodline, if I can explain it in a simple term, would be a trend. If we want to put it in a practical way, it would be a trend of things that are happening in a family, affecting generations after generations. So that would be a trend. That is something that is very consistent. It's a culture in a family, and it's very consistent. You find that there is someone in that generation that participated in something that has opened up a door. And when I'm talking about opening up a door, I'm talking about a door of the enemy, a door of evil things. I'm not talking about good things in this instance. Or they have gotten into an agreement with the enemy about something. Therefore, it has opened up a door that everyone in that family, in that bloodline, in that generation or generations to come will go through that thing that they have agreed upon with the enemy. I'll make an example. You find that there's a family that would always have someone dying at the age of 50. None of their family members past the age of 50. Their lifespan is 50. or you find that there is a trend of divorces in the family, a trend of firstborn children getting divorced in the family, you need to look at the bloodline or the trend of what's happening so that you know what you are marrying into. And if you are aware, you are able to pray against it. If your partner is aware, they're able to pray against it. The nicest thing about serving a God that is powerful, that is mighty, that is, sovereign, is that he is able to deliver us from whatever that our ancestors has participated in. He is able to open our eyes so that we can declare that of which that they have done, or the altar that they have erected, that we are not for, we are anti, or we are against. We are able to cancel the curse. We are able to get deliverance. We are able to rewrite the story of generations to come. So it's very important that you know of the bloodline. And hear me well, guys. There are people that have inherited those things and they are not aware, but there are those that have actively participated in and have sold their soul to the devil. So make sure that you do not go into marriage with someone that has actively sold their soul and they are an agent of the devil knowingly. Some, it would be a positive thing. It would be a bloodline of wealth. When you get into that family, there's wealth. Abraham, in the Bible, God told Abraham that I will bless you and the generations to come. That is a good thing. It's a good thing. It means there will be blessings generations after generations. So sometimes you get into that family and there's a wealth, there's a blessing that is upon that family. That is good thing to inherit. But bad thing, look into that, pray about it, get spirit of discernment, ask God to reveal the bloodline of the family that you are marrying into. Because when you get married, you are not marrying only your partner, but you are marrying the family that they are born in. And also you need to think of your children as well, because once you inherit those things, or once your partner has inherited those things, and there's no deliverance, there is no awareness, there is no redemption or forgiveness that you ask from God, or repentance that you ask from God, then you need to think of your children as well, that if your partner has done this, then your children will also be affected by those things. Or the family of your partner has done this, your children will also be affected by that. So this is not just about you. This is not just about we are in love, we are happy and whatnot, I'll deal with things. That's not about it. It's very important that you are aware of the family that you're going to marry into. The third thing, guys, traumas. I'm very passionate about the subject of traumas because I have had the opportunity, I'll call it an opportunity, to deal with my traumas. I've had an opportunity to experience issues in my marriage because of childhood traumas. But talking to traumas, it's important to be self-aware. It goes back to your premarital counseling. I discovered my childhood traumas during our premarital counseling. And these are things that they ached me about my husband. It's things that really annoyed me, and they were very problematic about my husband when I was viewing them, only to find that this was just a 6-year-old crying for help. It was a 6-year-old that was reacting or triggered by the things that my husband was doing. So it's very important to know your childhood traumas. A lot of times we take offense because we are triggered. It's not really what the person is doing, but it's because we are triggered. There's a saying that offense is not given, it's taken. So you need to ask yourself, why are you taking so much offense? Because what is offending you might not be offending the next person. So sometimes the things that are really troubling us and are a problem, it's because there is a deep-rooted issue that you need to deal with instead of the person that is viewed as the perpetrator in that situation. So it's very, very important that you are aware of your childhood traumas. You are aware, and your husband is also aware, or your partner is also aware of their childhood traumas. In that way, you are very intentional about how you respond to certain things. You know that this is where my limit is. Your partner would know that this is where this is the line that I do not cross, or these are the boundaries that I need to respect because of the childhood traumas. And again, once you know about your childhood traumas, it is an opportunity for you to heal from your childhood traumas. It's not a permission for you to be flaunting them around and being a mean person and expecting your partner to understand because they are supposed to be knowing your childhood traumas. No, because when you are behaving like that, it means that you are allowing your traumas to control you instead of you having control over them. So it's very important that you heal from your childhood traumas. In that way, you are also a healthy person and you're also able to let certain things go because you know that this is actually, my husband did not do anything wrong with 123. It's because I am reactive or I'm seeing red because of the issues that I'm dealing with, and seek help for those things. So please talk to your partners about their childhood traumas. Talk to yourself about your childhood traumas. Make sure that you have your own session, your counseling session, and seek help, and make sure that you both know what is happening so that certain things can be avoided. The first thing, guys, is communication style. It's very important. You can't do marriage without communication. If you are dating and you feel like your communication is not good, I would say pause a bit and work on that. If you are considering getting into marriage with someone that you feel that communication is out of the cards for them, that is an issue. You can't do marriage without communication. And communication about everything, guys. This is about everything. And when I'm talking about communication, I'm not saying your partner should communicate the same way as you do. No. But it's important that eventually they are willing to communicate. I'll make an example. When I met my husband, I thought that I'm the best communicator in the world. Only to meet him and I realized that actually I'm not good at communication. I am one person that when I am offended, I will make up my own story in my head. I will start with the beginning and the middle and the conclusion and summary. I will do all of that. And also I want to take time. But now I have learned that I don't make up things in my mind. I would rather tell him to say, I don't want to talk about this now. I don't like 123, but I don't want to talk about it now. We'll get into detail when I'm calm. Because I know that if I'm not calm and I don't think things through, then things will be blown out of proportion. Things that I don't want to say, I'll end up saying them because I am speaking from a place of anger, a place of frustration, and I wouldn't want to hear his side of the story. So for me, it's very important that before I address something, I would try to get some time off and talk about it in my head. But now I'm learning to talk about it in a healthy way, not trying to come up with a story that makes sense to me. I would want him to talk to me and give me his side of his story. So that is the kind of communicator that I am. I want a minute. I want to digest things and then we can address things. My husband on the other side, he wants to address things there and there. And I'm not like that. So we've had to learn to understand each other. He was frustrated with me at the beginning, but now he knows that he needs to give me my space. And also I've learned to communicate that with him because at first I would just shut him down. I would just ignore him when we were dating. I would block him. I would do all crazy things. So right now I've learned to communicate, to say I need space, give me some minute for me to digest things, and then I will come back to you. And he respects that. At the end of the day, would sit down and sort things out. So I'm talking about that you need to understand your partner's communication style. But on the other side, there are those that do not communicate at all. They don't believe in sorting things out. We have makeup sex. We hide things under the carpet. We don't talk about things. And at the end of the day, it becomes a bottle that is full of hatred, full of anger, bitterness, and all of that. When you blow out, it becomes a huge thing that will need intervention of other people, because we've let things pile up instead of addressing things as they happen. It is important in marriage, guys, to address things as they happen. And if you don't do that, if you are waiting for someone to make a mistake and you come and bring things of 2015, things that happened 10 years ago, then you're going to have a problem. So really, it's very important that you consider your communication style, your partner's communication style, and make sure that you meet each other halfway. But if there's no communication at all, then it is a problem. Marriage needs you to communicate about small things that you would think it's such a nag. Partner will see them as important things to discuss. Therefore, you need to meet your partner halfway and talk about those things. So you can't say, no, I don't like talking about this, or no, I don't feel like talking about this. We'll figure it out as we go. No. Because remember, these are two people, different minds, different backgrounds, different perspectives, so we can't figure things out as we go. We need to talk about things so that we are on the same page. So make sure that you have communication and you improve on your communication before you get into marriage, because trust me, even marriage is going to challenge you. You will develop another level of patience, another level of communication that you didn't know you had or you have. So it's very important that you work on the basics before you even get into marriage. The number 5 is parenting style. For me, that's very important because a lot of us are adults that are dealing with issues from our childhood. And some of these issues, our parents contributed to them. So it's very important that you know and you understand your parenting style and your partner's parenting style. If your partner is someone that does not believe in showing up to every game that your child has, to every parents meeting, and they feel that parenting is a woman thing or a man thing, and you don't believe in that, it's going to be an issue. So it's very important that you talk about those things. It's very important that you look at how they treat their families or their children. You might not even have children as yet of your own, but they might be having children outside. It's very important that you look at how they treat their children, because sometimes come the time where you have children, they don't do that. So it's very important that you also look at their patterns, you look at the behavior of how they treat other people's children, how they treat their nieces and nephews, how they treat your children. If you don't have a child with them, how do they treat your children that are outside your marriage? It's really important. I know, for instance, with my husband and I, we don't yet have children of our own, but I look at how he loves any child. Like any child for him, his face lights up. He loves children with his whole heart. And I've also seen things that I don't like that I've had to address with him. That might be a challenge when we raise our own children. He's a soft parent, if I can put it that way. He's a parent that would give a child whatever that they want. He would buy them sweets. They would eat sweets at any time. And I, for one, on the other hand, I'm not yet a parent, guys, and I know that maybe after I have children, maybe I will have a change of heart. I don't know, but I, for one, I believe that a no is a no to a child. We need to set boundaries. There should be a routine. And my husband, I think he's the opposite of that, based on how I've seen him treating my nieces and nephews and his nieces and nephews. So with that as well, like I'm saying, look at how people or your partner behaves around other children. That will inform you how they are. Some might be one that believes that I don't tell my boy child that I love them. I don't spend time with my boy child. In daughter must be strong. A boy child must not cry. You know, those things. You need to look at those things. You need to listen to what they are saying. Listen to the message behind what is actually being said and their behavior. That will inform you a lot. And you need to then decide if this is the man or the woman that you would want to one day have children with. So please consider that as one of the things that I would say it's very important to inform your decision into getting married with that person. The other thing which is important for me, very, very important, is character. And character informs a lot of things. It informs the principle of this person, the principles that they uphold. It informs how they treat people, how they treat your family, how they treat their family. Character is the core of a person, and character cannot be changed. It can only be changed by God. It can only be changed by the Lord Jesus Christ Himself. You can't change character. So you need to understand that if this person, they don't have a character that is humble enough to receive criticism, to receive constructive feedback, to chances of them changing are very slim, because to them it's their way or the highway. And that poses a problem because you can never talk to them about anything. It goes back to communication, it goes back to how it informs everything else. Character, you need to look at how that person reacts to situations. I always say situations reveals a character of man. You would see how people are when they have money, when they are well off, and when they don't. It will reveal their character. There are people that when they have everything, they idolize the everything. They idolize the material things. They look down on people that don't have. They are prideful. They are not humble. You need to look at those things. There are people that whether they have or they don't have, they are givers. If you are someone that honors a giver and you love giving, you need to consider that, because if you are going to get married to someone that feels no, you are wasting money, you are wasting our food, we cannot go out there and be cooking food for homeless people, we can't be giving out our clothes. I don't believe in giving clothes, I'd rather bend them. You need to consider those things, because they are going to frustrate you, because when you are in marriage you are in a partnership, so you can't just do things on your own. You need to consult your partner and vice versa. So if you are going to be consulting them about things that for you are a given and they matter to you, they matter to your heart, and they don't see that, it's going to be a problem for you.
So, for instance, I've had this vision of having an organization that is for homeless people since I was in my teenage years, if not early 20s. And that is something that I've had in me as a single person. So now imagine I get married and I get married to someone that is like, nope, we can't be helping people. It will be a waste of money, it's a waste of time. You need to guard against that. You need to make sure that the people or the person that you get married to rather is someone that when you look at their character, it matches with your character, it matches with the things that you value, because a character of a person informs what they value, informs their principles. So it's really important that you consider a person's character before you get married into them. We need to also differentiate between a character and a personality. Personality is something that can change because we grow, we evolve, we change as people. However, character is not something that can easily be changed. Character informs people's principles, it informs what they stand on, it informs what anchors them. So it's really, really important that you look at that, because you don't want to get into marriage only to find that you are frustrated because you thought you will change a person. Only God can change the character of a man. You can't do that. And some of these things you need to just avoid frustration and being unhappy in your marriage because you chose to be, a warrior that will go and be changing people's characters, because that is not something that you can change, really. Lastly, money habits. Their relationship with money. That is very, very important. Money is a tool. Money is a resource that will help us to progress in our marriage. And if you guys clash on money habits, how you relate with money, it's going to be a problem. If you are going to be in a marriage where you believe in talking about all things money, how we spend money and holding each other accountable, yet you have a partner that does not believe in even showing you your pay slip, it's a problem. If you're going to have someone that feels like, no, if I bring my 5 friends and you bring your 7 rents, my 5 rent is mine and 7 rents is mine, that's not how it's going to be. Because if I bring my 5 friends and you bring your 3 rents, we have 8 rents in the house. We do not have 5 rent and 3 rents. The income that comes from the 2 individuals, it becomes the income of the household. But if you have someone that does not believe in that, we still have men that feels like if they show their partners their pay slip, the wife is going to disrespect them. It goes back to character. Because remember, if your wife loves you because of their money, if they value money, which also is part of their character, then it's an issue on its own. No, if you have triggers where you've been in a relationship where you were once transparent and it was used against you, and then now you get into this marriage where your partner has good intentions, but because you have not healed, you now want to, withhold all the information from your partner because you are protecting yourself. It's important to heal. So you see how all these things are connected. It's very important with money to ensure that there is transparency. If you are a spender and the other one is a saver, know about those things. Know about those things so that you are able to balance each other out. And if you have good communication in your marriage, you will be able to talk about these things and you will be able to hold each other accountable. But if you have someone that feels that it's a no-go area, we are not going to be talking about my bank statement, it's going to be a problem. Remember, money actually informs how you're going to build your legacy, how you're going to build wealth for your children, how you're going to be progressing in your life. If I look at money as something that needs to be spent and there's no one that comes to say, we actually need to go and invest this money, we need to save, we need to buy a house, we need to buy this and that, or invest in properties, then it's going to be a problem. And for us to not know or be able to hold each other accountable because we don't want to talk about deep-rooted issues. So sometimes I'm a spender because I grew up in a very poor environment, and because of that I told myself that when I grow up I'm not going to lack anything. When I grow up, I'll make sure that whatever that my parent was not able to give me, I will give myself times 10, and that is an issue on its own. Because now you find someone that comes and they want to save. You are not even willing to save because you told yourself that when I step out of my house, people must know that I have money. I must smell money. I must look money. The cars that I drive must look that I am wealthy. You know, those are issues that you need to deal with. So it's very, very important that you look at your money habits and your partner's money habits, because it informs the quality of your life. And if money is going to be something that controls your marriage, it's going to be a problem, because we need to have control over our money. The money must work for us, not the other way around. We should not be informed by money on how we need to behave in our marriage, how we need to behave in our society, how we need to be giving to our parents and whatnot. We need to have a conversation as a couple and talk about those things. So that is very, very important. That is my last point, guys. But I think in closing, I want to say that in everything that I have said, please have context on those things. In everything that I have said, there are things that can be changed. There are things that cannot be changed. And like I said when I started this video, these are things that I deem as necessary, as important before you step into marriage. However, there are people that are already married, and I'm not saying that when you're looking at this video and like, yo, I don't have none of that in my marriage, it means that you need to leave your marriage, that it means there's no hope for your marriage. That is a lie. That is not true. God is able to change. Pray for your marriage. Pray for your marriage. God is able to bring change in our marriages. God is able to bring restoration in our marriages. God is able to redeem us in our marriages. I've seen, I mean, when I'm talking about budgets now, my husband, when he started, he did not want anything to do with budgets. He was dragging our meetings. He was, you know, it was such a drag to get him to sit down and talk about budgets. But he eventually bought into it. He eventually loved doing it. Right now, it is not even a discussion in our house. It's not even a by the way things. No, we do it. We are consistent. He's the one that is actually calling those meetings. He's the one that is looking forward to those meetings, because he has seen the benefit of having a budget. He has seen the benefit of talking about our money before we even spend on anything. We know that before you buy anything for that month, we have to sit down and discuss, because his money is my money, my money is his money. It's our money. So there's no 50-50 when it comes to money. So it's very important that you have that reassurance that God can change the heart of men. God can change the behavior. God can heal. A lot of things that we have issues on, it's because we haven't healed. It's because we haven't submitted them to God. God can heal our issues. God can heal our marriages. So please don't leave your marriage and you think that your marriage is not good enough because all these things that I mentioned are not existing in your marriage. But for those that are single, please take your time. Take your time to know your partner. Take your time to pray for your partner. Take your time to get revelation from God. And most importantly, obey whatever that God reveals to you. It's very important that you obey. Sometimes God will say not now. It doesn't mean that you're never going to get married to that person. God is just saying, I need to work on my child, because I know that if you get married to him or to her as they are, it's going to be a volcano in this marriage. Nothing is going to work out. And God does exactly that. He will deal with whatever that is problematic, because he knows the root cause of whatever issue that we have. So if the issue is from you, he will deal with you instead of your partner, and vice versa. So please, let's normalize praying about every little detail about our marriage, about our potential partners. And lastly, when we get married, we are obviously in love. We are, having a lot of butterflies, and, there's a whole lot of excitement. Guys, marriage is not that. Marriage is a constant decision to be intentional about loving your partner. You love them when they don't even deserve your love. You love them even when they are annoying you. And I think I want to close with a scripture from 1 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 4 to 8. And it says, Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongdoing. Love does not delight in evil, but it rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. I truly believe that if we experience God's love, a glimpse of God's love, it gives us an idea of how we ought to love in a marriage. Marriage was created by God, for God. Therefore, you can't do marriage without Him. Otherwise, you'll be frustrated and you won't win. God's love is actually the blueprint of how we need to do marriage. And His word is forever there to guide us on how to do marriage. Anyway, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Please don't forget to comment, to like, to share, to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I really appreciate your support, and I will see you on to the next one. Bye, guys.
Back on it. You can put 100 grand on it.